Hi everybody, I'm Zabe Barnes, Shaman, seashell alchemy teacher, and this is my mermaid sister, good friend, Beloved, who is a master of working with the waters and also a master of working with the spirals of sound from the crystal healing bowls. And we're going to be talking about retreats and ceremonies and co-creating group experiences and the power behind that, what goes into it. And so what do you want to tell us about the power of group retreats?
Goodness. You know, when you come together in a group or when you come together with more than one person, it just amplifies everything. It amplifies the energy and things happen. Transformation happens so powerfully and so deeply and so quickly when we have group experience. So much of my life, as you know, is creating group experiences, whether it's ceremonies, whether it's retreats, whether it's sound healing experiences. Everything is group. And we come together in sacred space, and you know how I feel about that, about creating that space, creating the container where everything happens. It's like letting your soul know that this is special time. This is time for deep work, for deep understandings, and moving into that deep soul connection.
Well, and I had the pleasure of being at one of your ceremonies. It was a full moon ceremony, and it was beautiful. It was at a friend's home. There were a lot of people from the community there. What I noticed when we walked in, from the moment I got there, I was having the exact right conversations with the exact right people I hadn't seen for a really long time, these really deep healing conversations, and I knew that was part of the space that you were creating before we even started the ceremony. And then when you brought us all into the living room and we sat down for the actual event, instantly the energy that you pulled in was I watched you do it. I watched you do it, and I'm like, yeah, she knows what she's doing. It was a very powerful energy, but there was space in it for that connection with friends also.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. You know, it's setting that energy, and that's what I love to do. I love coming in, and the preparation is so important, as you know from your own work.
Yeah.
You know, before you ever get there, you've already connected. We've already set the tone so that by the time the participants are coming in, it's already that sacred space. It's like walking into the great temples centuries ago. You know, even now, when I walk into some of the churches, especially the old ones, especially the European ones, when I walk in there and there have been the tones, there have been the singing, there have been the sacraments for centuries, I walk in and I feel it because it's still there. So that's what setting up the container is. That's what that's all about. Yeah. So yeah, you can feel that energy when you first come in.
Absolutely.
That's the beginning.
Yeah, and I'm struck by the ease and the grace. You know, I teach classes. I teach formal classes and trainings, and so there's always a curriculum that you know, I have to be mindful that we cover all of the information. And yours is much more free-flowing. You're guided by your team of angels, you're channeling. I know for the night that I was there, you had a few things that you had planned to talk about, but then from there, it just kind of gracefully unfolded. And I would imagine that's much more what the retreats are like, and what you're
Yes.
doing in your retreats, going wherever the waters take
Yeah.
you.
The first time, though, I have to tell you, the first time I was invited by the angels, no notes, and I was giving a talk in, I do a lot of talks in unities and the churches and the centers that are more free-flowing and open. And the first time Archangel Ariel, who's my primary guide, said, okay, put the notes away. I was like, what? Put the notes
Wow.
away? What will I talk about?
Yeah.
But I learn if I just arrive and have a couple of points that maybe I'll get to, that I feel into the energy, and then what do people need? What will resonate with them? What will touch their hearts when they're here? And that's the way I do everything. My yoga classes, I walk in, I don't know what the practice will be that day. It's walking in and feeling into the energy. So when I do weekenders and I do retreats, it's the same thing. There is a basis, a few things. Like I know we begin each day with sacred ceremony and tuning in. That's always the first thing. We come together, we gather, we form a cohesive group, we tune in with practice, with meditation, with yoga, or qigong, with just seeing and setting. But
and I want to interrupt you here, because this is a piece that I think a lot of people don't understand, is there is an art to everything that you do energetically behind the scenes. It's not just, okay, now we're going to do a meditation, or now we're going to do qigong and we know the moves, or now we're going to do this yoga. There is something much deeper that comes from a lifetime and many lifetimes of your healing experiences and your spiritual anchoring that you've done lifetime after lifetime. And that is the part that people don't see. But I can attest to it because I've experienced it with you.
Yes, and that's true. For both of us with our work, it's all the lifetimes, it's all the experiences, because our soul doesn't belong to this lifetime. We're embodied now in this beautiful playground of Earth. We came into this 3D to experience, but we bring with us everything that's gone before, everything that we've been, all of our experiences. So that's true. It's everything that you're bringing.
It's that it factor that, just like in theater, some performers, a performer can do everything right. They can have their lines right, they can sing the song perfectly, and it's good.
Yes.
But then you have those special people that have what they call that it factor, where there's something extra that they're bringing to it. They've still got the lines, they've still got the songs or the whatever, but there's this energy, this magic that comes through them that you can't teach people that. Either, really, it is developed over lifetimes, and you don't just teach somebody by doing simple practices. And I want to confirm that you have this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. There is that flow, there is that connection. When I teach Kundalini Yoga, we understand that as I sit before you, I'm not the one giving the lessons, but there are 10 gurus and the
Yeah.
golden chain. So
Yeah.
that's what's coming through. So I think it's that way with everything. It's what's coming through. And of course, we all came here with a counsel. We have so many guides and so many teachers. And if we'll get out of the way, that flows through us. And if we will connect to that each and every day, reconnect, open up, then that flows through. And I think that's what it is that people respond to.
And this is also what you teach people how to do.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, it's such a, it's such a joyful thing to be able to do, to connect people. My passion is awakening souls. The angels have always said, you are a soul awakener and a gardener, and teaching people to open up and understand their majesty and understand their perfection and their magnificence. Yeah, that's what.
But
I
it's
love
not
to
just
teach.
it's not just pretty words.
No.
Like because there's a lot of people out there saying the pretty words. There is the groundedness. You ground it in. You bring it all the way through into the physical plane. That's part of the magic that I see with what you're doing in your groups.
Oh, thank you so much. Because, I'm a fairy woman, and it took me so long to ground.
Right.
I didn't want to clip my wings. It was like, no!
I know.
No,
Well, and my middle name is Faye, which is fairy. So, and my grandma. So I understand that fairy
I
desire to
know.
fly. Yeah.
I know. But the thing is, when we're embodied here on this planet, if we are not within our bodies, within our connection to this earth, I don't think you can see it, but can you hear me? We're pounding the stones. We're sitting in a beautiful park, sitting on stones with the water behind us. So if we're not connected to that, we can't manifest.
Yeah.
Things won't flow because we bring them in, and then here, and then here. Yeah, the earthing's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you also about your crystal bowls. You do that as part of your retreat, yes?
I do, but on my international retreats, I don't use the crystal. I use the 7 metal,
The metal bowls.
alchemy bowls. And they are so powerful. All of these bowls, everything I do with sound is alchemy. And it's all to the higher dimensions. So it's bringing everything in, because you've heard me say many times that we are the most powerful crystal bowls in the cosmos because we're crystalline. And we are vibrational. So we are sound instruments. So when I use the alchemy, whether it's the gemstone bowls or whether it's the 7 metal alchemy bowls, we are bringing together all of that sound. It's flowing through. And then, of course, we tone
Yeah.
and just bring that vibration through us. There's a reason I think that the bowls, crystal and 7 metal, are the very first of the ancient healing tools.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they are. They've been used from the very beginning. I have a deep connection with Egypt. And these were some of the Egyptian tools, some of the tools that were used in Atlantis, in Lemuria, together with our sound.
Wow. Wow. Well, I knew I got to be at one of your crystal. You had the crystal bowls and the metal bowls
Yes.
there, and
Yes.
I've been around enough to have been to many crystal bowl and singing bowl experiences, but there was something different about yours. It was like going up on the mothership. It was just, and my body, as soon as you started, we were laying on the floor, and as soon as you started, my body went into spontaneous motions. And remember, I couldn't even, at the end, I just wanted to stay. You thought there was something wrong because I didn't want to sit up, but I was still, I was still in that just deep, deep healing that was happening. It was so beautiful. So I consider you a crystal bowl master.
Thank you.
And honor you, and hope that as many people as possible get a chance to experience that with you.
Thank you so much. And coming from you, oh my goodness.
Well, and I can also imagine when you're in a retreat with just a few people, that's got to be such an intimate experience with the bowls, that it's got to be different than when you have a room of like 40 people, to have it really, you are so sensitive to the sound, so sensitive to how the harmonies go together. And I can imagine that you're custom tailoring it when you have a little intimate group in a retreat. That has got to be something.
It really is. And that's one reason I keep my retreats really small. I used to do huge retreats, 40 people, 50 people. But now I keep them to like max 8 women. And when we're together for that amount of time, and we're working with the sound, and we're working with ceremony. And the other thing is, how I am about time portals, and how important that is, those vibrations.
Talk more about the sound portals. Tell us about the sound portals, beloved.
Well, here's the thing for me. Okay. We are vibrational beings. So I think it's really important to align with the vibrations of the cosmos through sound, but also through understanding time. And I like to call things portals, because for me, portals are openings, right? Places to expand. So I really honor the moons, the full moon. Oh my goodness. The full moon is all about surrender. It's about completion. Surrendering. What are you complete with? What can you let go? Just easily. I don't usually use the words release. That's harsh to me. Okay, we're going to release it. No, surrender, like that leaf that when it's ready, it just drops off the tree. So for full moon, I do fire ceremonies where we surrender what we've completed or what we no longer need in our lives. Here's the thing, I'm always telling people, we are beautiful chalices. So if I'm filled to the brim, how can something new and delicious come in? So full moon is the time to empty the chalice a bit, make room for all that deliciousness. And for me, portals are like the moon portals, the portals of the quarters of the year, the seasons. Those are 7 days. So it's 3 days up while the energy is building, the day of lunation, and 3 days down. That gives us time to be with that energy, to be with that, and to see what it is. And the new moons, oh my goodness, the new moon is just as it says. It's about newness. It's about creating. I call it the portal of creation. So what are you creating in your life? And when we learn to align with these energies, then we learn to really use this in our lives. And we have the moons every month. So that's at least 12 opportunities. So when you understand what the cosmos is doing to support you, then it makes living, it makes manifesting so much easier. Because why would I want to surrender something if the support I'm receiving from the moon, from Luna, from the cosmos is about creation, right?
Right.
And why would I want to create if the support I'm receiving is about surrender? So these are magnificent portals. And then, of course, the quarters of the year, which is the change of season. Again, we're surrendering and we're coming into new. It's a very powerful time, exciting time to be here on planet.
So you'll be doing planetary work in your retreat also, yes?
Yes.
So talk about
Yes.
that a little bit.
Oh my goodness. So when I do retreats, I align them with the planetary energy. So I either do them on the quarters, which would be, when I speak of quarters, I'm talking about the change of seasons, the 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices. So I either do my retreats and weekenders on those points of the wheel where the energy is really shifting, or I do them on the moons and the change of astrological sign. Because in my retreats and our coming together, I want you to experience the shift. I want you to experience the surrender and then the invocation of creation. It's like, the surrender is like an exhale, you know? And I like the idea of exhaling the old before inhaling the new. So I like beginning things on the eve of, when my husband was on planet, we would celebrate important days to one another, like our birthdays, our anniversaries, the night before. And we would leave gifts for one another on our pillows. And it was so sweet.
Nice.
But it was like, okay, so that other time is just completing the exhale. And now the new time, the birthing, is coming in with the inhale. So my retreats are always aligned with the cosmos so that we have support, And I'm the ceremony girl.
Yes.
I'm all
it's
about
beautiful.
sacred ceremony.
Because it's honoring, and it's honoring ourselves, honoring all of the gifts that we've been given.
Exactly. And coming together and acknowledging the cosmos. So on my full moon retreats, again, we do fire ceremonies of surrender. And when we're acknowledging something new, we do Chinese lantern ceremonies, calling in the ethers, the air. What are we bringing into our heart? What are we calling in? What are we birthing? And putting it into the lanterns and then letting it go. Letting it free into the universe. And
so in your retreat, you're going to have several ceremonies, aren't you?
yes.
3 or more?
Yes,
3?
and I always have at least 2 or 3 ceremonies in every retreat. There's always a surrendering. There's always a letting go. And it's always so beautiful. And I actually have a retreat coming up in May, which is May 17th through 24th of 2019. It's in Nosara, Costa Rica. And it's a full moon retreat, and it's full moon Scorpio. So we will be honoring the Scorpion
Going deep.
energies,
You're gonna go deep, yeah.
Going deep. So we'll be honoring that. And then we also will be moving into the portal of Gemini. We'll be changing from Taurus, which is Earth. We're still in the beginning of the year of the wheel. So we'll be moving into the first air sign, of Gemini. So that's where we will do our birthing, our creation. That's where we're going to do our Chinese lantern ceremony.
Beautiful.
And of course, all of my retreats or my weekenders have a water ceremony because we live on Earth, but we're water beings. So we have a full water ceremony with each retreat, which is really connecting to the waters of our physical being and the waters of the planet. The waters have told me that water is not of the earth, it's a cosmic substance. And in our full moon retreat in Costa Rica, we will be blessing the waters of the Pacific because we'll be in Guiones, Nosara, and really understanding, the waters in our bodies now. We're in a creek here. I don't know if you can see it. It's the same water that's in the creek. It's the same water that was on the glaciers millions of years ago. So to honor that connection, to honor that and to feel that is so important. Yeah, so those are the ceremonies that we do in all of my retreats, and we'll be doing those in the retreat in May.
Wow. Beautiful. Well, it sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Sounds wonderful, and I know that it's going to be an amazing time.
It's going to be absolutely delightful and delicious, and I'm so excited, and I'm so blessed to be able to steward the things that I do and to be able to be a soul awakener and transformation partner.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
So do you have anything else you want to add? Anything else for us to talk
let's
about
see.
Today? We've covered a lot of topics here.
We have. I think we've done very well. No, I think the only thing that I would like to leave people with is just invite you for a moment to close your eyes and tune in. Just tune in to your breath. The breath is air, the breath is water. Your breath is your soul song. So just tune in there for a moment. And then take a nice deep breath. And I invite you to tone. Just open your mouth. No one can hear you. Just take a nice deep breath, and whatever tone is there for you, just let it go. Let it out. Let it out into the ethers, into the universe, into the cosmos. So deep breath in. Take a moment to feel that. That's your soul song. Just feel it in every cell and in every tissue. Just feel your being, your magnificence, your soul. And I leave that with you. And I thank you so much for you. Oh, my beautiful mermaid soul.
I know. We even had the same soul note just now.
I know. How about that? Oh, thank you. This has just been lovely. And I hope to see some of you. I know that some of you are joining me in May. And I hope to see more of you there. Bye-bye, darling hearts.
Bye-bye.